Hi and welcome back to the channel. Now I am going to be using this video to do what is quite late, an actual review of the ARYLIC H50. Now many of you will know that this was released about a year ago at $399, and a lot of the reviews then tended to think that although it was well featured, not every feature worked quite so well, and was $399 a little bit too high. Well now, and I've linked it below, you can purchase the H50 for $249, so a huge reduction in price. But what's really important, is it now worth it? Now before I get started, I want to talk a little about ARYLIC itself. Now about a year and a half ago, I was looking for a small plate amplifier to build a boombox. Now, if you follow the channel, you will see that I've used various Chinese versions. However, I came across the ARYLIC. Yes, it was a little bit more expensive, but it came with a remote control. It came not just with Bluetooth, it came with Wi-Fi streaming. It was a very neat and tidy product. Even it had an optical input that you could link the boombox, if I ever wanted to my television set. And although you can actually still purchase, they do a lot of the DIY stuff that you can use, they are moving more and more towards the small amplifiers. And this brings me to the H50. Now the H50 is their premium product. Now I did review the A50 Plus a few months ago, which was a lot smaller in comparison, but same power output, a lot more fiddly to use and nowhere near the connectivity. So let's take now an in-depth look into the H50 itself. So straight out of the well-packaged box, you get the amplifier. You get a small manual, which is fairly well detailed. You get a remote control, which is very basic, but does have all the functionality on it. And you also get the power adapter. Now that is it. You don't get any cables or anything else. On the rear, you've got your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi antennae, your DC input, which is for your 24 volt supplied power supply. You've got your speaker left and right terminals, which will accept banana plugs, and I would suggest you use these. For your connection to your turntable, you've got your phono in and your grounding. You've got line in. You've got a subwoofer out point for an active subwoofer, an optical input, which again you can connect to a television, along with the HDMI ARC digital input, again for connection to a television. You've got your LAN, which will support direct to a wired router, USB for storage, and you've got connection here which will actually allow you to connect it from USB-C to USB-C to your computer. You've got a reset button here, and you've also got here which is a load switch, which allows you to switch between 4 and 8 ohm speakers. Now the Wi-Fi streaming is taken care of by the 4Stream app, which you download and follow the instruction manual on how to connect this and the H50 to your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Now the app is reasonably intuitive to use and has a huge amount of services to choose from, of which I'm not going to go into here. But for example, if you select Spotify to play your music on, it will then display this on the front of the H50. Now I'm going to break up this review into a few sections. I'm going to start first of all with where the H50 I think will be carrying most of its workload, and that is the music streaming. So for the purpose of this review, I've spent a few hours listening to different types of music streamed through Amazon, but mostly Spotify. Spotify tends to work better. You can actually log into Spotify and then actually just select the H50 from that and stream. Makes it much easier because you're actually using the Spotify app itself. Now, I've actually streamed two sets of speakers, both 4 ohm and a set of 8 ohm, which I built. And if you were interested in taking a look at those, I have put the links up there or there, somewhere like that. So do take a look. Now the quality of the music personally has been pretty good. The highs I found excellent. The bass, even from just 4 and 3-inch speakers, now that's without the subwoofer connected, I found very good. Now reviews previously have said that some of the mids are lacking a little bit and are a little bit flat, and I have found in certain circumstances this to be absolutely true. However, using either the app and the equalizer on that, or just the bass and treble, which are actually on the remote, I have found that that has counteracted most of the issues. Now the H50, as well as Wi-Fi streaming, has the ability to stream via Bluetooth, but personally I don't see why you would. If you've got the ability to actually stream through Wi-Fi, I can't see the point in actually doing so through Bluetooth. The quality won't be so good, and you're more likely to be looking at your phone, shut the app down, and you've closed all your music down. However, one thing it does have is sort of a reverse Bluetooth, where you can connect, once streaming, to your headphones, and you can actually connect to 2 sets of headphones simultaneously. Now this again, probably if you're working from home or something like that, might be a feature that you find useful. And to be honest, I certainly thought it was quite handy when I was using my mobile phone that I wasn't likely to shut down my Spotify as I was closing apps, which I would have done if I was using Bluetooth. And whilst we're actually on the term of streaming, I have connected a small USB device to the back and stream various bits of music through there. Now through the app, what I did find is, though yes, the music played really fine, not a problem at all, you couldn't actually select or see what you were doing. Whereas obviously if I'm using the Volumio app, you can go into your phone, you can select everything that's on your USB stick, you can see what you're streaming, and then obviously decide what you want to go from there. Now while streaming as well to the speakers, I did connect up a small subwoofer. Now a couple of the other reviews have stated that when shutting down the H50, you tend to get popping from both the subwoofer and the speakers themselves. Now I thought I'll experiment to see if this is still the case, and when I did turn it off from the switch, no issues at all with the main speakers. However, there was a small popping from the subwoofer. So I don't know whether that's probably something that maybe ARYLIC can look at in the future. It could be a quality of parts, I'm not totally sure. Now I did go ahead as well and connect the H50 to my television set. Now I didn't use the HDMI ARC, as unfortunately the HDMI bit in my television is actually broken, but I did manage to connect it through the optical input. Now it's certainly improved. This was to a 2.1 channel system, so a small woofer and a couple side speakers. And the sound quality, certainly huge improvement over the speakers that are obviously in the television, which you would expect. However, where I was completely disappointed was even with the optical, there was a small time delay. And watching a film, then obviously the lip sync was completely out. And I thought, well, maybe this is just a small issue with the optical. And then I decided to try an RCA to a 3.5mm adapter into the back of the television, and exactly the same issue. So I'm getting synchronization issues, which personally, these have shown up in other people's reviews, should have been sorted before this left the factory. So I'm hoping that ARYLIC, and I'm quite surprised in the last 12 months after seeing some of these, they haven't sorted that out. So that's a little bit disappointing. Now I obviously haven't been able to test every single feature. I don't have a turntable, so I couldn't connect it to that, and I also couldn't connect to the television via the HDMI ARC. So what's my conclusion on the ARYLIC H50? Well, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. What I think ARYLIC have tried to do is create an amazing one-stop shop, effectively, of an amplifier for what is now a really great price. However, what they have done is fallen short in a few places. Now, by falling short, what I actually mean is they've probably tried to do too much and taken their eyes off the ball. Now, I'm sure that this could all be rectified in an update. And if they did, and it was successful, then this, I think, would be an amplifier that you would find it hard not to recommend. Thanks very much for taking your time to look at the review. If you did find it interesting, please leave me any comments below and I will try and respond. If you'd like to keep up to date with any future reviews, or you'll be interested in actually building your own speakers, then do remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be kept up to date.